Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Walter Galliardo, and this was in response to Moog Music Lays Off staff in Asheville, a rant I did October 2023. And Walter writes, Moog, made in the USA, is gone and will never be back. It was a good run, but clearly it was unsustainable. I don't like the In-Music matchup. A Japanese holding company would have been, in my view, a far better match. But Music Tribe would have just been ironic and scary. The electronics build quality will be what In-Music decides to be, and out of the box, the cabinetry will never be as good as it was. From that, I do expect product redesigns. Right now, they are looking at market research available for the category in order to set new price points versus margins for the lineup, which will pretty dictate the quality and price of manufacture for the brand moving forward. I can see the whole sort of Asheville laying staff off being a very controversial thing going forward within the community. Moog does have a very loyal following, but they tend to be a very high-end price point. And I'll be honest, In-Music does get very mixed press in terms of the brands it owns. But at the end of the day, they are in it to make money. And I've said on a previous video, Moog, while it did make a profit, didn't have to appease external shareholders. So it made a profit that was appeasing to its current shareholders, which is more like a family. Yes, they're still producing product, and as they all look to be profitable, which means they are obviously selling product. But I do agree the golden days of Moog may be gone. I think these days are probably behind us, and the company will probably move to more of a consumer focus product line as opposed to a musician focused product line. But what does that actually mean? Well, time will only tell. So the next one comes from DJ Kenyon in response to Moog Music Lays Off staff in Asheville, a rant I did in October 2023. And DJ K in this instance writes, I don't understand this thing about Moog, etc. I mean, they want to release cheap models in China, give it a different name, and produce high-end stuff in the USA. Look at Guitar World. We have Fender and Squier, Gibson, Epiphone, etc. Synth manufacturers should do the same. Yep, Squier and Epiphone are inferior to Fender and Gibson, but that's kind of the whole point. Well, I don't know, but I think that Moog perceived their position that they held in the market for producing specific types of synthesizers, and with that status came a specific, I can't say specific, came a perceived price point that people were prepared to pay just so that they could say that they had a synthesizer with the name Moog on it. I made comments about this in the past when I commented on Oberheim and the fact that their new synth and their synths in the past have traded a lot on the name Oberheim, using the same logic, I suppose, in that perspective to dictate the price point that the market was willing to bear. Now, I agree you could create a new brand. And you know what, that isn't actually a bad idea, you know, creating another brand, an inferior brand if you like, in like the Squire, which one I can remember, never remember which one, the Gibson Epiphone or Fender Squire. You know, they're made by the same company, but they may not be made with the same quality of parts that the senior brand is made with. But then, having said that, it's still made by the same company. It still has, if you think about it, probably a lot of the same R&D in it. It's just maybe the pickups and the guitars are not as good on the inferior brand as they are on the senior brand. So this is kind of a valid strategy. Create a new brand, source slightly inferior parts, build synthesizers to a cheaper price point, and this is, as I said, a valid strategy. But in the old format, I don't think this was their strategic thinking. Their strategic thinking is you buy a Moog, you get a Moog, and that Moog is built with certain. I'm not going to say the word again. I struggle with that word recently. It's built with certain components, and it's built to a certain price point, and it's built to appease a certain market. Okay, and I probably will get shot down for saying things like that, because people get very upset about this whole kind of conversation of Moog Oberheim sequential circuits, price point being, you know, upper end of market, not for the masses. I would buy it in an instant if I could, you know, because that's my business, and, you know, basically bugger anybody else who can't afford it. Well, that's tough. Music is for everyone, remember that. And you should be, you know, we should be mindful of that fact. And yes, not everybody can afford a Moog. A lot of people would love a Moog, but not everybody can afford a Moog. And that is probably one of the things that I think new management will probably look at. What does that mean? I definitely think there's going to be a change in manufacturing strategy. What does that mean? Possibly not producing synthesizers for Moog in the US going forward, maybe somewhere else in the world, Far East probably, and to maybe they will come up with an inferior brand, you know, Junior Moog or something like that. It's a bad name, by the way, and making stuff to a different price point. There is so much they can do with the brand as long as they don't dilute the worth.